Would be better than nothing. What's up?
Hey, good evening.
We need music, like the lead in or something.
That'd be cool. But anyways, we are the voice of college football Oklahoma. I am Tyranny.
Saying it like it's an announcement. I'm Chad.
And we are here every Monday at 7 o'clock Central Time.
Yep.
If you are coming back, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. Like I mentioned, we are here every day at 7 o'clock. So, not every day. Every Monday at 7 o'clock. And we'd love to have you keep returning and hanging out with our guys. We do have a live chat going on in YouTube. If you're joining us from X, you can hop over onto YouTube and join the chat with the little community we are building. If you want to just watch on X, then I guess that's fine too. But
that is fine. Yep.
The
Sorry,
live
I'm getting
chat's
everything.
fun.
Trying to get all our deals up that weren't up. So there we go.
Lots of tabs. Sorry we're late again.
Well, that's just gonna happen sometimes. We got our cert brief filed, and it is what it is. Life happens to most people. So
Yeah.
it was bound to happen sooner or later.
Big days at work. Like we mentioned, the later we are, it's normally because we got home late from work and getting everything together takes some time. So we did the best we can.
Yep.
We're usually
Didn't
no
eat
more
lunch.
than 15 minutes late, so.
Yeah. It's all good. T's still got a cough.
I do,
in case
but
you're
it is
wondering.
getting a little bit better.
It is getting better. I had one too. I think most people are dealing with a little sickness right now, anyways. So it is what it is. It happens.
Doesn't help when I'm talking all the time either.
Yeah, for your job and stuff. God, this stuff's.
We had a fantastic weekend with Sooner Sports. Pretty much all dubs across the board, man. Softball, men and women's basketball, baseball. Apparently tennis and lacrosse did well. So, I'm sorry to them. I don't follow as much as I probably should. But
The largest sporting event in the world, cricket, between India and Afghanistan.
okay.
I saw that today and had to get just someone else to know that. The number one cricket player in the world has over almost 300 million followers on Instagram. He's more famous than Messi and Ronaldo. I had no idea. I didn't know he was a thing.
Is it just because there's so many people in India?
Yeah. So all right. Here's how wealthy these teams are, where these people live. So in like cricket, yeah. It had almost 300 million viewers. The Super Bowl had like 110. It's insane. I can't even tell you. I don't even know what cricket is. But
we played it in elementary school, unofficially.
Really?
Kind of, yeah.
I think that light back there is flickering.
Oh, it's fine.
It's gonna die out, I think. If it gets bad, I'll just turn it off. But yeah, how wild is that?
That is crazy. I wouldn't think cricket would be that popular.
I didn't either. I was shocked. Anyway, yeah, I had a moment of just reflection. That was just a wild thing.
Those are 80.
And
80
you know,
kicking
just
in.
why are so many fans negative? So there are a few things I guess we can talk about today. We're going to talk a little bit about the spring game.
We're going to re-talk about it because apparently from 3 weeks ago when we talked about it, the conversation has, I guess, caught some fire, as Texas said. They're not going to have one.
Yeah, there's Texas. There's a few other schools that mentioned they weren't going to have a spring game. Mm-hmm. So I have some thoughts on that, and then just some general. To the ChampU barbecue is this week.
No, it's in June.
Or is it in June? But there's been some commitments for the ChampU barbecue that we're going to talk about. Yeah. But you're right. It's in June. I didn't mean to say this week. Sorry, my brain's just scattered still. We have
a big day.
We have the next 2 days off for my job though, so that's great.
How big of a day they had.
Yep, we worked all through the weekends and till late, so that's nice though. It's nice to have that kind of done and that weight off your shoulders a little bit. T's still got to go though.
Yeah.
Stressful.
I know.
But then so we have the spring game discussion. Then we're gonna talk a little ChampU barbecue.
Yep.
Then we're gonna talk. T got asked actually to be to go to the OU gymnastics meet.
Yeah.
So I got to tag along, and we got to sit front row right in front of the beam. And my gosh, it was epic.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun.
It's insane how just athletic they are, and you know. There's only so many football topics to talk about, so we're gonna mix in some basketball, some softball, and gymnastics talk to kind of end the show out.
Since it's such a big weekend,
and OU sports just killed it. I mean, they did fantastic in almost everything. So that's gonna be nice to kind of talk about and have some good things to say finally about especially the men's.
We
basketball
needed it.
team.
We deserved it, guys.
Mm-hmm. It is.
We all deserved it as fans. Let's
So-
scroll down on the.
First thing to start off, I guess, is We already did the introductions and everything, right?
We did.
Okay. Sorry, I was zoned out for that. My bad. I was trying to get this up.
It's fine. I zone out when you talk sometimes.
That's fair. That's fair.
We're nothing but honest around here.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, it's just reality. I mean, so you only do so much sometimes.
So we're gonna talk about first the spring game.
Yeah, let's do spring game stuff.
Bet.
And the cough takes time to get rid of, but it does go. Yeah, it does.
It does.
Sprite is a top tier drink. Whoever said that, I agree.
Crispy.
Spring games are getting Thanos'd all around college football, though, which is an interesting discussion to be had. Tina and I brought it up about 3 weeks ago, and
I feel pretty cool being ahead of the ball because I was the one that initially saw that and sent it to you. Be like, this is an interesting topic. So
yeah.
Look at me, like, you know.
What I love is we're not about giving ourselves,
No,
praise
I'm patting
here.
myself on that one. What a topic.
No, that was a great
Let's
call.
revisit it.
Why is this messing up? All right, there we go. Hopefully
We forgot to ask the usual if you could hear us okay.
Yeah, we're just going to assume you could. And, let's see, it's like broken. If you can't, then it is what it is. I'll have to try to fix that later on. Anyways, the spring game.
Yes.
Let's see. I was talking with some people earlier that were not earlier in the week. I guess last week technically, but that were. I don't think they had a good feeling about. I don't think OU is in any type of worry of getting canceled. I don't know that's even going to be a thing this year for sure not. But I'm just saying I don't know that it's going to be something that they want to do. Although I don't think you can make really any logical argument to that you should keep it other than fans enjoy it. And
money.
More important than fan enjoyment now is money. And if you can say, stop cutting my points off. You're cutting my points off. You have my note.
I'm not in your notes.
And she's cheating.
Mine. In your head.
Go ahead.
Now go.
No, that's all I had to say. Yeah, I was gonna say other stuff, but you took it right to the conclusion. Now the build up and stuff I had, it's all gone.
Continue.
By the way, I'm joking.
No,
I hope
please.
that doesn't come off rude. Dang, I gotta stop doing that. No, but it's like you were saying though. It's 100% right. It's just money. I mean, I get fans want it, and it's a fun event to go to with family and friends and kids and stuff. But it's in the future. You got to look at even this year. I can make an argument it'd be better for them to skip it than it would be to have it. You have a new quarterback, new offensive coordinator. You could do OTA style spring training camp.
What?
And you get more practices. You get to work on details more often or more frequently. The spring game's fun for especially underclassmen or players that don't get a lot of playing time. But again, the world that we all wanted, not me at all, that pays players money. What's more important than any of that is money. And there are people that are going to say, like, you need to have these games because it's about the tradition and all that. But there's a pragmatic approach that is just if you risk losing talented players because they're seen on film, or risk losing a player like you remember Caleb Williams when he went to USC, he had the hamstring issue that everyone thought he tore his hamstring in spring practice in a spring game. At some point, you got to wonder, is that risk even worth that juice worth the squeeze? Because of the risk that you not only have in terms of people being injured, but in terms of players not being poached from your team.
Right, because tampering is not punishable anymore. And
it's just, I just don't think that there's. Eventually, I just think it's going to be gone. That's why I think the OU Texas game is going to be gone. I don't think they're going to do a home and home from now on. And I'm wondering too what the point of even making a profit as a sport anymore is. Most law firms at the end of the year will be zero, neutral out on the books, so they paid out all the money they've made, and then usually attorneys will do a loan back to the firm to make salary payments monthly until next whatever revenue hits. Mm-hmm. I just don't get you made $6 million, cool. That could have got us how many more offensive players from the portal? All that money needs to go to football, every bit of it. And and I guess I'm just talking about how I would deal with it. I just don't understand if we're worried about money and that's all we care about, which it obviously is according to most people around the sport. Why are we doing anything that doesn't directly contribute either with revenue or getting more players on the better players on campus? I understand why you spend money on facilities and all that. Players want to play places that are nice venues and good facilities. Mm-hmm. But I mean, a spring game isn't gonna. You're spending all this money on game day operations, security for concessions, to get the players to and from, or to get the coaches to and from, to get all the fans in and out, like all this extra stuff you're having to spend money on for a game that may not really provide you much other than getting to be in front of fans, 4 months before your season. So I'm just wondering, kind of like thinking about it, like what is the argument going to be if you are someone who enjoys the spring game or wants to have it? More important to me than the spring game is just to be healthy next year. And I think maybe I'm so jaded by our injury situation that we had this past season that I'm just, if the increased risk of all these injuries is just something that I'm just not, I'm just
right. Which I read Gerald McCoy's comment, and he's talked about, like, if you're worried about tampering or worried about injuries, then, like, don't play your dudes, like the guys that are going to be an impact next year, and then play the younger guys, play some of the practice squad just to see what they got, just to see, like, if they are a gamer, like we talked about, like a Jacob Jordan, a Xavier Robinson, who got in the game and made stuff happen. It's just because some people just do that, and so give them that opportunity. I like it.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, the spring game's fun.
We all by that point are missing football a little bit, so it's just a little taste for the fans. I do think it could be a moneymaker. I also think for people who can't afford to come during a game during the year, this is a good chance for them to get to come into the stadium and see a lot of the hoorah and take, their kids and their families, because the games are getting more expensive.
What if they said tickets are $60, but 40 of that's going to go to our NIL budget? How many fans do you think would show up? The same fans that say we need to donate more and get our big money donors to come in.
Probably wouldn't go.
Yeah.
No idea.
I would love to know. I would love to know the revenue situation, like how much it costs. I'm just cutting you off, my bad. But just how much it costs to run this thing versus how much you make.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the game's beneficial enough. And my dad and them are cough into that if you can, so it muffles out the cough. And my dad and them are watching. I'm interested. How much of that money would, like, how much you really get out of a spring game? I mean, how much were tickets when we went? Like $20, maybe.
15, 20.
Oh, okay. I didn't know they were that cheap. Like 30. If they said they were $30, 60 that's a lot more than I thought.
Yeah, this guy said 60's wild.
Oh yeah. My bad. 1982. T bought the ticket source last time we went. My bad.
Yeah, they're not very expensive. Yeah, they're like $15, $20.
Then you for sure aren't making money on it. I wouldn't think. Maybe the year, like that first year when we had 74,000.
But even then, you're buying the food, but you're selling the food, and that's money in your pocket too.
Yeah, but you don't sell all that you buy. I don't know.
But it's not.
I don't know.
But it's very cheap items that you're selling for not cheap.
But you talking about the beer, like the
anything,
high noons and all that.
Anything.
Yeah, that's no lie. I just don't know, and I wish there was more. I could see more about.
Right.
But and I cut you off on your point. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I was just curious. About how much it actually costs and like what the it's like what you would get. I don't know. I just don't think.
I don't know. No, I obviously, because we talked about, like, we don't want traditions to go away.
Right.
But we understand why they are or will, essentially, because it is all about income. If there's no punishment for tampering, then who's to stop you from watching your spring game and offering your player before the season, in the spring, over the summer, whenever it is. So you don't want to lose any of those. Somebody made a comment about, somebody said about Texas, well, they just finished in January, so why would they want to play in April? It's like that's still a long time.
Yeah,
that's not the reason you're not having a game. You're not having a game because of tampering,
right.
Because you don't want your players tampered with, or you don't want to get exposed or whatever. I just, besides the tampering, I see no reason not to have it. I just understand what a big deal tampering is now, that it's a big enough issue to me that I wouldn't want to risk it, but also, like, I like to have the spring game.
I do too, but again, I think we like it just because of what we think it just because we remember going with our families and just making a day out of it, and all. I also don't know why, like, half the fans are just angry after it because our defense got burnt or our offense couldn't move the ball. And for me, that's always been a weird dichotomy in that game. It's when do you get when do you really get to brag about what your team looked like?
Right, but it's a no-win situation.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I know we've talked about it, but if your offense does well, why does our defense suck? If your defense does well, it's why does our offense suck? So it's kind of like you mentioned, like, it's no win, and people are going to complain about it. I don't take it at the whole. I take moments, like what good moments did I see? Because also they're all running. I mean, the offense is running plays the defense, would be familiar with, and vice versa. So I mean, there's just that familiarity that's going to be there too. But
you're right.
Yeah. I like it just because by then I really am missing football.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a nice little touch of it before we go into the summer, and then that's when I really start to dread the long break.
Well, I was reading about Texas and some of their reporting on why they're canceling theirs, and of course, they've had 25 players, I think, in the last 2 years to go to the NFL, and they've had, they played 30 games over 2 years. So the added wear and tear of just even that one game, if it keeps a guy out for a month or so from working out, how far behind does that put him into the fall? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I just think that it's so valuable to have, especially after what we saw this year.
But are you not already scrimmaging in practice? So what's the difference?
Yeah, you are.
Doing it as a spring game in front of people.
Yeah, I know. I think that is just like you were saying, the poaching part. But I don't.
I just meant as far as you're talking about with
they do scrimmaging stuff. For sure. I just don't. I don't know.
Unless it's just whenever you get in front of the lights, you're just more intense, and maybe that can up the injuries. I don't know, but
intense and yeah, for sure. I just think that if any chance you get of knocking off the injury, of lessening your injury probability, for me is worth it. Not even say that I would if it was my decision, I would have the spring game because I think it's fun for the fans and I enjoy it. But that's also not having to worry about the pragmatic reality of football now, which is money. And I mean, everyone here is going to say they hate it. And by the way, when I say everyone, I don't literally mean people watching. I'm just saying the football fan in general, who was all for play the players, everything they should deserve. They weren't getting any benefit apparently before NIL, which is also an asinine thing to say. But apparently they weren't. They were just being, poached and not taken care of or anything. Now they get paid, and now it's all about money, and everyone wants to complain about that. But, you sleep in the bed you make. And this is the bed we're in. It's about money. So, tradition is good on the heart of fans. Pragmatism probably wins you more championships. Mm-hmm. And I care about championships because that means more money in the school, which means better players. We had this whole discussion with like the chicken and the egg thing about, fans want to donate to teams that are good, but teams that are good have money to pay for better players, and those teams with better players are better, and so fans donate to those teams. So it's like, where does it start? Do we, and not that OU's just terrible with that. I mean, we're not, but it's just why not do every little thing you can to make more at the end of the day? And just my 2 cents. I don't.
Right.
I'm not saying it's.
But with that too, again, we always go back to like, we put a lot of money into our team this past year.
Oh yeah.
And our money got hurt, or our money didn't feel comfortable playing for whatever reason. We don't know all the hoopla there, but at the end of the day, like, there was a lot of money in it.
True.
That should have been able to go and would have made a heck of a difference. That just weren't able to play. So then it's like, okay, well, now I don't want to give my money if you're not going to play.
Right.
Which, granted, if you're truly hurt, nobody wants somebody out there that's truly hurt.
For sure, yeah.
But it's just when it's like, feeling better than ever, that kind of stuff. That's when it starts to question. But just feel it.
Yeah, it was a little odd
there. But
it was a little odd.
Do you make this whole? Do you type this?
Yeah. I mean, it's like sort of copies and pastes a little bit. I mean, some of this is copy pasted,
wow.
But
this is like organized.
Yeah, that's how I usually am in life. All the time.
No, this is how I am all the time.
Little show prep over. I had to work through lunch today.
I'm just impressed. He's got like bullet points.
There aren't many people that have it.
He's got it bold. He's got sources. I'm like, who are you?
There aren't many people in life that have it harder than I do. You know what I mean? Just a lunch pail guy goes to work every day.
Lunch pail in your suit.
A little Camel cigarette. Just a Busch Light is my kind of beer.
Why?
They know. Just a lunch pail guy. When you see me, you think that dude either coal miner, right?
Have you seen your hair?
Yeah, coal miner.
No.
Coal mining.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's
the furthest thing away anybody thinks.
Well, maybe the furthest thing. Well, I don't know. I think me. I saw there was this guy outside of our office with a crane. They're putting a roof on. It sounds like I almost made the joke. It sounds like a war zone on top of where we're working. Another thing I'm finding through. Just again, tough one. But this dude was just in the crane, right? And it's perfectly like you would envision it. Carhartt on, boots on, and just a cigarette, and then and just turning this humongous crane around our building. Other guys were just sitting there too. There was 14 cigarettes being smoked between 8 of them.
Between 8
Yeah, and I'm like, I want to go down and just say hi, you know?
Do you?
Yeah.
They'd see your hair and make fun of you.
I wanted to weld something at that moment.
You would weld your leg off.
My grandfather was a welder for 70 years. I could probably just something,
Blacksmith.
inherently there. Epigenetics or whatever it's called, where skills are passed down through your genes.
No, I've seen you.
The problem is I have a brother who's very good at all that already.
Yeah, so the problem is it got passed down to your older brother.
Yeah, true.
He's got the skills
Yeah,
when it comes to building and putting stuff together.
Yeah. I'm very jealous of that multiple times. So, but yeah, is there anything? I feel like we kind of
Bush was a $2 beer at the OU hoops. Enough said. No Finch.
Yeah,
Chad.
there we go. I'm gonna throw this something. Dude, yeah.
And gymnastics.
And you know why 1928 Boomer? Because it's of the people. It's a salt of the earth, just a grizzled beer. And that's why I match with it so well. I think it's a good pairing.
Chad, your hair has too good of a credit score for you to be the salt of the earth kind of guy.
I have a pretty good credit score now.
You didn't used to.
Didn't used to. Turns out college loans catch up to you if you don't, you think they're not there anymore. Anyways, long story short. So speaking of long story short, so are we done with do you have any thoughts on the spring game? I feel like we're kind of both
Not really.
I feel like we're both in agreement. Like we want it to be a thing.
Right.
But we just realize that eventually we think that it'll turn into save as much as you can where you can. Maybe. Mm-hmm. And just maybe don't have the risk of being poached, right? Oh, Randy's here. Randy is a coach too, so I admire his
You want to read
I like his input. Yeah. Randy said, I like spring games, but the game is too restricted. I watched Allie's blitzing defense crush the offense the week before the spring game, then vanilla defense in the spring game. Okay, well, slight brag that you got to go to practice and you didn't even invite me, but that's not it is what it is. But no, that's very true. And maybe this is the point too. It's like, the spring game is, are you really? And I guess anytime you get to do reps, you benefit, though.
Okay, so I mostly saw the spring game as for the people.
Yeah.
As for the fans, to give them something to look forward to.
True.
Maybe something to get excited for. In the age of NIL, maybe something they want to donate more to. Mm-hmm. Or, just whatever. Just for the fans. And then it was a glorified scrimmage for players just to kind of get a little bit of that publicity starting out.
Right, yeah.
I never saw it as like, I don't know. I never saw it as serious. So like if I saw like vanilla D, I don't like saying that. Vanilla defense in the spring game, like I wouldn't care, I guess, because I would know that. Like I would know like the defense doesn't want to go annihilate the offense or I don't know. And also it's like you can't even touch the quarterback, so I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You touch him literally, but like you can't hit him. So that's why I just saw it for like more of just the fans just to go out and have fun and have community and have that experience together to get us through the football season, and then just to give the kids a break too. So the kids, they're adults, but to give the athletes a break too. But we'll see. We'll see. We still have our game as of now, so maybe going forward though, like we mentioned, could be.
You wonder. Speaking of cigarettes,
I've never smoked anything in my life. We established this last week.
I know. I do feel bad for you. Her cough's been I hate it.
It's actually what's crazy is it gets better, but right now talking so much.
Yeah, it's probably
like almost nonstop. It's just like continues to irritate. We went to the gymnastics meet, as Chad mentioned earlier, on and basketball. Thursday and Friday we were down in Norman, and I was trying to cheer and yell, but it seemed like every time I went I was like and I kept coughing and I was like, I can't even yell sooner. This is so tough. But first world problems.
Yeah. And I think we both kind of said what we need to say there.
Yeah.
Kind of agree. So next thing we're going to talk a little bit about ChampU Barbecue, big recruiting event that happens in the spring or summer of every year.
Yeah.
And arguably, and I don't know if this is a fact or not, but it's been rumored June's the best month of the year.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, because you were born there.
I was. That's funny. I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the
best month of the year is for
signs.
sure October.
What are they called? The signs people have. I don't know.
Zodiac?
But I don't.
Zodiac?
Yeah, zodiac signs.
Zodiac?
Yeah,
Astrology?
zodiac signs. Is that astrology?
I think it's Zodiac. I think it is astrology, but they're Zodiac.
Zodiac was that serial killer.
That was terrifying. Anyways.
Yeah. It's a great movie, by the way. Jake Gyllenhaal's in it. It's pretty good.
Pretty good book. Oh, there's a new documentary out on, also interesting. But we're digressing.
But I mean, people come on. They will listen to this. They're going to get just a plethora of information. You got the cricket information earlier in the show that I didn't know, and I was just as shocked to hear it as T was.
Yeah.
You got now new Netflix documentary coming out. T just watched the Gabby Petito doc.
I did.
Don't know any much about it, but horrible what happened to her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also ChampU barbecue in the summer.
ChampU barbecue in the summer.
T's actually done yeoman's work on this. She has some notes on who was committed.
Not a ton.
I look back at some. This is actually fun to do on Twitter if you ever have time and you're just bored.
Bowed.
Yesterday I was looking back I typed in ChampU barbecue on the search bar and I saw tweets from 2019 or 2020, 2021, 2019. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird. Like Lincoln Riley tweet was on there. I was like, that's where the barbecue.
Brisket?
Yeah, that's where that happened. Yeah, but just some notes about people coming in there
laugh.
and then
what was that? It sounded like a goose honk. Ew, that was so bad.
Someone clip that. That'd be hilarious. There was, but what I was kind of impressed by was what I was kind of impressed by was the success rate of like the big time recruits that went to that recruiting event and then committed.
There's a statistic?
Well, I don't know. On Twitter, just what I saw. But, there's a lot of people that I saw, like, he's going, and then I would see later on a commitment picture.
How do we get an invite?
Xavier Robinson got an
invite
and committed. Yeah, right. I think that's just players and recruits. Which, by the way, I wouldn't charge much if you needed help recruiting to OU.
I'll blow up some
If anyone's
balloons.
watching.
I'll help you decorate some tables.
Yeah.
I'm good at following directions. I will help you set up.
We need who was ever in charge of USAID, whoever did their contracts, just dished out the cash for them. We need them to come to OU and just start.
Why would you say that?
You need $1 million. You need $1 million.
Why would you say that?
It's not. It's just a. It's a.
Let it go.
It's a point.
Let it go.
USAID, by the way, not people. Never mind. It's an interesting deal, but
And we just lost 50 listeners. Thanks a lot, Chad.
I think
I'm just kidding. Anyways.
I don't know. We got a few commitments for the ChampU barbecue over the
commitments
weekend.
in the sense that they're going to ChampU barbecue,
Right,
not like a commitment to OU.
Which is typically coming with their official visits. So that is a big deal. You only get 5 official visits.
I think they got rid of that.
They might. I'm not surprised if they did. I haven't even noticed if they did or not.
No, I think they said now you can take as many as you want.
That doesn't surprise
I may be
me.
tripping. It may be.
Let me see.
I'll
I'll try to.
And it may be to like starting in some year, but I'm pretty sure they somehow limited that. Anybody know? I may have made that up too, but.
All right, let's see. This is live research right here.
That's what we tend to do.
Let's see. And, Google's never wrong, so I'm sure when we tell you this. Oh, no limit. How about that? They did get rid of it. Let's see.
Point one.
Let's
we need to keep a tally instead of Xenozone.
The NCAA
how many times
transfer
I'm right?
portal.
How many times you're right?
I was guessing. I don't know. By the way, everyone, remember when she said I was too competitive and we couldn't have game night anymore? This is Exhibit A. And this is why the truth always wins out. You stay patient, stay in your zone, stay in your corner.
Point one, Chad.
Play the game like you do, and just,
I didn't say I was not
let
competitive.
nature take its course. You're not competitive, isn't it?
I didn't say I was not competitive. I just said that I don't do whatever it takes to win.
Don't do whatever it takes to win. I do what it takes to be successful.
No, you are win at all costs. Type.
No.
Type. Yes.
Not at all costs.
Yes.
There are limits.
Okay. I used to be that way, and then I grew up.
Noah Best, offensive lineman from.
Fantastic name.
That is a great name.
Midlothian High School in Texas, which I have family down in Midlothian. That's the only reason I knew how to say
really?
it. I did.
Wow.
He is offensive lineman, 6'4", 290, 4-star recruit. He has locked in for the ChampU BBQ. We have a set of brothers, Bo and Nico. I wish I could say it. Jandro? Jandro?
Well, in France, we would say Jandro.
You're so annoying. Anyways,
That's how people say it.
Jandreau. We have a set of brothers coming in. Bo is a linebacker currently, and Nico's being spotted for like a cheetah position.
Sweet.
So Bo is 6'1", 210, and Nico is 6'1", 195. Mm-hmm. So they're both 3-star recruits out of Arizona.
Nice.
I have some stats on them too. Let me see. It looks like Bo put up 31 solo tackles and 89 total, while his brother had 31 solo tackles and 51 total.
Nice.
So, pretty cool. Not that stats really mean much, but, I mean, in high school.
They do, but I mean, they can
do,
be misleading and over. Like, yeah.
Exactly. I don't know what kind of competition they're playing. I'm not Parker Thune or Brandon Drum. So.
Well, the big thing is they're targets that they want, and they committed to come campus. So that's
to
that's
BBQ.
the big news.
Yes, we have Taj Overton. Is Taj?
Taj.
Is it Taj? Taj,
yeah.
Taj Overton. He's out of Owasso. He's ranked the #1 player in Oklahoma. So I love me an Oklahoma kid.
Also, Owasso has the number 34 ranked basketball player in the country.
Do they?
Apparently, he's supposed to go to Kansas.
Okay, well, that's rude.
Yeah, very.
But he is a 4-star.
He's probably watching. He needs to go to Oklahoma.
Yes.
Okay.
Love an Oklahoma kid because they just, they
Meaningful.
have that same type of pride and passion usually for the school as we do as fans. He is 6'3", 275, defensive line.
Yeah.
We have Valdon Sohn. He's also 4-star.
I read that as Stone, too. That's funny. It's Sone is how you say his name.
Yes, and he is 6'4",
Sohn.
310. He was an All-American, and he was All-State looking at like a defensive end. And he's the #1 defensive end out of Virginia.
And I'll go out on a limb. All-Americans usually pretty good ball players.
Probably pretty good.
Usually pretty good ball players.
#1 in your state, you're probably pretty good.
Pretty good ball
at your
players.
position.
Yep.
We have a Ryan Deuce Gilbert II. So guess why he's called Deuce, I'm assuming.
I like that.
He's a second.
I like that.
Anyways, he is a defensive back position, a 4-star. He's actually a decommit from A&M.
Oh.
So
Check didn't clear, I guess.
check did
I don't
not
know why. Yeah.
clear. I was reading on his maybe like Huddle or Max Preps or something. It said he ran a 4.52 40.
4.52?
4.52.
Now, that is faster than me in high school, if we're wondering.
And then
That's pretty good.
I think somebody else ran like a 4.6. I'm trying to that Bo that said he ran a 4.6 40. Take that for what you will. And then but Ryan Deuce Gilbert is 6 foot 180, and he is also out of Texas.
Okay.
But decommit from A&M. And then this one I didn't see his little like ChampU barbecue like the locked in little thing that they're going with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The little video. But I saw that Parker Thune mentioned this guy, Kamharion Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Alabama. He's a 4-star recruit. He's an edge player, 6'5", 250. He's also a 2-sport athlete. He's a baller.
Wow.
So
Oh,
plays
love that.
plays a little basketball, but had 11 sacks, 47 tackles, 13 tackles for loss, and 32 hurries. So probably pretty
Love
good.
when you
But
get two
he's
sport
getting
guys.
recruited by other schools such as like Alabama. So,
Yeah,
but
we beat
I think
them last
Parker
year.
Thune said that he on a thing that we made an impact and he's committed to coming to ChampU, but I didn't see it from him directly. So is
Mm-hmm.
what it is.
There's actually Randy here said speaking of Taj, came down and helped coach up my defensive line at a 2-day clinic. Awesome young man, so talented, offered by all SEC schools.
Oh yeah, I saw that he had a ton of
That's cool. That's great.
offers. And there's a lot of information I could have looked up further, but again, like you're gonna go to Parker or Brandon and I feel like those kind of guys.
We're just gathering news for the fans, for
Yeah.
the people.
But I believe they all are. I think Stacy said, "Are they juniors or seniors?" I believe they are all class of 26. So that would be
should be.
juniors this year.
Yep.
Yeah, juniors this year.
Typically, unless
class
it's like
26.
I think David Stone got to go his junior year to the ChampU barbecue. But again, I'm just going off of what I think I remember. So it's not like we try to follow it as closely as we can. But
You mean like going into his junior?
yeah,
year?
going into his
Okay.
junior year. But he was also a top 5 player in the country, and
make
he was
exceptions.
kind of a maker. Yeah, he was kind of a make or break, especially for Venables, and at that time.
Right.
So-
And I watched some of their huddle highlights.
Which we're going to try to incorporate some of that like throughout the show eventually. We're just trying to figure out how to do that in the best way.
How'd you do that?
I have no idea. Sorry. Because I think maybe you subconsciously felt bad I interrupted you. I was just letting you know.
I was like, why did you do that? Stop.
That does feel kind of, that makes me feel, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
But I watched some of their huddle highlights, but then sometimes they're hard to seek, like, because they're so far away.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I really liked, like Bo and Nico especially, they seem, maybe it's a brother thing, maybe it's, how they're raised. They both seemed very intense. Like, it kind of seemed like they're those guys that go, like, full steam ahead.
Right.
Like, at all times, but they had good eyes, and I don't know, I like their intensity. That really jumped at me. I'm not going to pretend like I can, say, like, oh, he shoots the A gap really well, and da-da-da. I'm not going to pretend I can do that, but just from just looking at it, I don't know. I really, really liked those guys' intensity.
Right.
And it seemed like they fed off each other really well. So I don't know. That was something that stood out to me, and I made a note of. And then I made a note of somebody. Can't remember. I think I was just mostly impressed with those two. I seem like the most. The rest would be when they're defensive line or offensive line. It's kind of like, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, they're bullying through people. But then I also see, like, I don't care what level. You're still in high school. So not
True.
everyone you're playing is kind of like that D1 athlete. So
True.
they could be going against a kid that's never going to play football again.
Abuse.
You know.
Physical abuse.
Or to just not be at the same level. But still, like, very good footwork. It seemed like very good, like, you know, what is it, the swim moves.
Yep.
Saw some people. But it was fun. It was fun to kind of look through their huddles. But I really liked the intensity of the Jandro brothers.
It really is awesome or wild to
Ginger.
see, like, when you see a legit Division I athlete around just kids that have, you know,
Right.
are going to
And
end
that's
up
when-
being a
okay.
pledge guy next
Right.
year.
And that's
It's
another
kinda
thing
funny.
that stood out. Funny that you mentioned that. Because, like, a lot of these guys, I was like, they just seem so much faster than who they're playing. You know what I mean?
Freaks.
And not, I mean, I'm sure some of them are playing very high level football. So, like, obviously, like, Texas football is a big deal. Like, there are a lot of D1 athletes on the floor. That's the basketball in me. On the field. But they just seemed, I was like, man, these kids are, like, seem so fast. Like, they seem just, I mean, they're just better than who they were playing. But
Well, I'll never forget when I was in high school, I was on punt team, long snapper, by the way.
Okay.
My friend Carson, we had one rule. My dad was there. There was a guy named Trey Ford, I believe was his name.
Who?
He played at Texas Tech, but he was at Carl Albert. JT Romuto was their quarterback at the time. This is just going to go right to your story about Division I athletes and speed. So I long snap it. We have one rule: don't kick it to 4. Carson, one of my best friends in the world, saw him over the weekend. This is hopefully he sees this. One rule: don't kick it to him. When I say he hits the punt of his life, but I mean it's right on the line to this guy. He catches the ball. My friend Levante, shout out to you. Hopefully you see this one day. Great athlete. Better
Very
athlete
fast.
than me. Very fast. So I'm like, well, he's going to get him. Gets juked out of his shoes. Maybe not that bad, but I mean to a point where I'm like, well, I mean, I got to take a geometrically perfect angle at this guy just to have a shot. And when I say that, it didn't even get close.
and that means, like, I'm starting on the 50 while he's on the 10.
Yeah, and I'm angling for the 12. Just to hope I catch him. I dive full body for him. Nick a shoelace. Granted, I'm a sophomore. He's a senior. You know, one of the best players in the state.
I don't think the year matters.
You know, it's for my pride, really.
Okay.
But it really is true. I mean, he put a move on. I'm like, where did he go? Oh, I might be last line of defense. But it's so true. Like, seeing real
Carson.
legit
Shouldn't
Division
he have
I.
been the last line of defense as the punter?
I'm sure we all got juked out of that.
Okay.
You know, they were very good that year. Very good.
Carl
We had a
Albert,
7-0 lead starting
they're
out.
good, like,
Yeah,
every year.
they are. Well, they were very good that year. Then they went on a little dry spell. Now they're really good again, obviously. But
Through dry spell, still probably winning.
yeah, their
8 or
quarterback
9
was an
games.
MLB catcher. Like, he's an all-star for like years. He's still in the league. Still
You
in the
also
league.
mentioned that you went to one, was it the Manning camp?
Manning Passing Academy.
And
Yep.
you were throwing to, again, like, D1 athletes, and they're like, all right, I'm going to run a little, like, go route or whatever. It's like, and you'll just
Oh, yeah,
pass
yeah,
to him.
yeah,
He said,
yeah.
I literally got the ball, looked up, and dude's just gone.
Oh, dude, it's just Andrew Luck was my 7-on-7 snapper.
No.
The whole day I was spent with Andrew Luck. Yep. I wish I had the pictures there on my dad's old computer. That probably doesn't work anymore, but yep, it was cool. He was also a good quarterback. You know, I'll go out and say that too. It was I was actually really fun. But yeah, it's Division I athletes are just it's a different world. You know, it's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, I played a girl in high school that went on to be a four-time national champion at UConn.
Yes,
Mariah
you
Jefferson.
did, Mariah
Yeah.
Jefferson. And you had
Girl's
mentioned super
fast.
fast, but not someone you thought would be.
At the time. So
Yeah.
at the time, she was committed to Texas when I played her, but I didn't know that. My coach just said, hey, T, you're going to guard her, and I want you to do the best you can.
Bring it.
And, like, was really, like, hyping it up. Kind of weird. Like, he's never done that in a game where he's like, just want you to do your best. I want you to really guard her. Like, da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, kind of. And I was like, okay, like, whatever. And I remember thinking, like, she really can't shoot, but she could drive. Like, she's faster than me. So I gave her a step or two. But man, yeah, she had some speed. But then she ends up decommitting and going to UConn, which over the time her UConn, she develops a shot, and she's a heck of a player. Like, I'm not trying to
Very good.
diminish that at all. But I remember my coach was proud of how I played. And again, like, he was hyping it up afterward, how well I did. And I was like, okay, like, whatever. Funny enough, that's the game that Kim Mulkey watched me play. And by watch me play, I mean, I was on the court. She was not watching me. She was watching who I was guarding. But inadvertently, she watched me play. And I remember thinking, like, I wonder who she's here watching. Because that's how much somebody didn't stand out. Like, I didn't even think about it. Like, nobody on the court to me at the time was, like, that Baylor level. Because Baylor women were really good at the time.
Yep.
And I remember, I know my coach hyped it up. And then my dad wasn't there. But the next day, my dad was there. And the coach, again, went to my dad and was really bragging on me. And my dad was like, T said she was really fast. And he's like, do you know who that was? My dad goes, no. He goes, that was, Mariah Jefferson. My dad's like, oh, okay. No, my dad looked her up. She was a number 2 player in the nation.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. I think she was behind Breonna Stewart that year. So both went to UConn and both won 4 natties. So
that's wild.
Kind of tells you where we're at.
Wild. 4 natties is wild. Our softball team just won 4 in a row. And we're all just like, are you going to win another one? And it's like, do you realize how crazy that is?
I hope they do. But that would
but,
be insane.
Like school, team. Just nuts. So we got NIL. We got ChampU barbecue.
Yeep.
Let's get into the other. That's pretty much for football right now. It's pretty much just kind of a dead period. The portal's not open. Kind of just doing workouts right now. Yeah, officially for real. And so until we get kind of closer to the spring game time and all that, there's really just going to be some quick updates. Recruiting right now is kind of it's going in terms of commitments for visits. And other than that, it's kind of just all staying the same for the next few weeks. So there are. How do you want to do this? You want to end with let's end with
gymnastics
and all that.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to start with baseball.
Unbelievable.
I'm very proud of them. But I'm going to preface this with, I am not a baseball fan.
Why?
I've never been. I've never watched baseball on television. I enjoy baseball games, but it's because I just like sporting events. Mm-hmm. So I'm not always the most reliable when it comes to OU baseball and watching it. I should watch it more. I really, really should. And I'll try to more this year. Because I just want to be supportive. But they had 2 top 10 wins. Fantastic for them. I want them to be good. Mm-hmm. I'm still going to be mad if they lose. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But I just don't watch it to the same tenacity as I do the other sports. But
Travis Davidson, good follow for baseball. He keeps up with it a ton.
Please go with Travis. Travis is all about baseball.
But they have 2 wins over top 10 teams.
Yes, Virginia and Oregon State.
That's
Virginia they won in extras, which is fantastic.
Thank you to the Kimbry family from Bartlesville.
Yeah.
$20 million for I don't know how many, but they've got a lot of money going to the
baseball
field.
If you are a baseball fan, definitely go out there. They have 5 home games this week.
They have one tomorrow.
And the weather is going to be fantastic. So if you're able to go. I'll try to catch one this year.
Hope I didn't just lie to our fan base. They do have a game tomorrow, right?
I think so. I think they have 5 games all week. They got a ton.
Oh.
Anyways, but anyways, yeah. Shout out to baseball. They are ranked in some polls number 16. So there you go. Off to a good start. Let's do basketball. We can do men and women because we're gonna skip the men's game against Florida. We're just gonna.
Why? A miracle happened.
Never happened.
Oh, you mean they lost? Yeah.
No, it didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen that game.
Didn't happen.
Nope.
Sweep it under the rug. Moving on. I kind of got in trouble. I got in trouble.
Got in trouble.
I said something and somebody said something back, but I didn't mean it like. I just asked in that game because they were not hitting even open shots.
You gotta quit paying attention to Twitter. People.
I know. I don't like confrontation.
Well, people are gonna disagree with you.
No,
Who
it's
cares?
true. No, it's fine. It's fine. But I sincerely asked, like, are they getting up extra shots?
You could say the sky is blue, and somebody's be like, really? It's just a different shade of purple. Whenever you really you look at the hue colors.
I just asked those since I'd asked, like, are they putting up extra shots because, like, we've had consistently poor shooting percentage.
It's not the ChampU barbecue anymore. It's on me. My bad.
Because we've had consistently poor shooting, and someone said, oh, they are, and then someone else said, like, you can't have them do, like, can't ask them to do stuff they can't do. I'm like, you have to hit open shots at every level, regardless of your D1 or JUCO.
True.
Or D3 or NIA. So, like, it's not really what I'm getting. I'm not telling them to, like, go break somebody off and go dunk it. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm asking you to hit up an open shot. But anyway, it's not the point.
Right, yeah.
They did do that. See, my voice is cracking. They did do that against Mississippi State. They took down number 21 Mississippi State at home. Duke Miles lost some teeth.
Big win.
It was a very big win.
Big win.
Did you just see it? Yeah. No, you were there. Yeah. Saw him lose some teeth. So he goes on his hustle play. If you weren't watching, dives for the ball, boom, face to court. And I watched it happen, and I saw him laying there, and like they ended up eventually stopping the game after they made a shot. So that was controversial, but I don't.
Now, if you had little Wayne's teeth, which are made of diamonds, does the floor have holes in it?
I don't know. But I remember I was watching it and I was like, are those teeth? Like, what is that? Like, what's on the floor? And then I heard him say there were teeth. I was like, holy cow. Which, funny enough, one of my high school teammates who went to Tulsa, Ashley Hughes, she was on ESPN for essentially having the same thing happen. Her teeth came out on the floor.
Did it really?
She picked up her teeth and kept playing.
Baller.
Yeah.
Gangster.
Tough chick. Shout out Ashley. But yeah, they Duke Mouse had that great house to play, lost some teeth, but came back in the game. So hey, like that's some toughness right there.
Right.
Sam Godwin probably had his best game of the year. He had a double-double. He had 17 points, 10 rebounds. It was just a really good game for him. I saw an aggressiveness to him. He was taking it to the basket. He wasn't like timid, which I really like, which he tends to be very timid. And I think it's because he got some good karma coming his way, because when we went to the women's game, he was there front and center in like the little stands where the cool people sit.
Like media and stuff.
Yeah,
there
like
sometimes?
the media people, the cool people sit. And he was there with some teammates.
Who Jeremiah Fears and someone else.
Yes, but long after his teammates were gone, which was about halftime.
To be fair, they might have been somewhere else in the stadium. We don't know.
Maybe.
But they weren't there where they were.
But they weren't there where they were. Sam Godwin was there.
Sitting like a preacher's kid, by the way.
LLP, listening, learning position, is how
like,
he was sitting there, focused on the game and watching it the whole time. And I was like, wow, like respect to him. Like the guys are all gone. He's by himself, and he stayed for every second of that game and supported them. So I think he got some good karma from that.
Also, in the girls, we haven't gotten the girls yet.
I haven't yet.
You got to turn it. You're good.
See, I can't even cough right.
No, you got to cough into the deal.
Can't even cough right. Can't even cough right. Anyways.
That'd be a good name for a coughing medicine. Cough right. Which would be to not cough at all. Sorry.
Okay. Jalen Moore had 18 points, and then Jeremiah Fears probably had, I would consider one of his best game of the year.
It's the first time I saw him actually play like a top 10 pick.
Yeah, he had 27 points. He was fantastic. He was really threading the needle on some passes, seeing the floor well, taking care of the ball. It was definitely the boys' best game they've had in a while. It was very all around. It was a clean game. It was a full game. There weren't a ton of like scoring lulls. Mm-hmm. They limited their turnovers. They shot well. I will say that towards the end of the game started to be that nervous point where you're like, is this about to be another LSU where we give up a 6-point lead in a minute?
Yeah, no joke.
It's like, okay, if you're getting pressed, guys, like don't catch the ball in the corner. Should you catch the ball in the corner, immediately get out. Immediately, like, split whatever trap is coming through. You pass out of it. Whatever it is you have to do. Don't pick up your dribble. Like, it just...
The basics.
The basics. And they were turning it over, but then they got it together. Also want to give out Dayton Forsyth had his jersey retired at Dell High School. He's the first player in Dell history to have his jersey number retired. Apparently, all of the OU guys showed up to support him.
That's pretty cool.
So that's pretty cool.
Awesome.
I love that for him. Apparently, he scored over 2,300 points in high school. It's a lot for anybody who doesn't know that. That is a lot of...
It's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points.
Keaton Page, or Rodney Clark, all-time leader for 3,600, I think.
You looked it up because you were curious.
Yeah, which is just insane. And then Keaton Page, I think, is up there like 3,500.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's like, yeah.
But 2,300, that's a lot.
That's a whole lot. That's what I'm saying. But I can imagine. I don't know how someone scores that much.
But yeah, so congratulations to him on getting his jersey retired in his hometown. And good luck the rest of the season. The boys really showed a lot of heart that game. I was very proud of them.
They did.
And again, I'm already drinking back that sunshine pumper, hoping they can win a few more. But they needed it. They needed that game. It was do or die.
They've got 5 quad 1 wins. They've got 4 quad 3, quad 4 losses. So they're in like a good spot to make it. I think they're probably going to be in with that if they can. Even if they just have like the fact basketball is so weird because the fact that their schedule is so tough, it really does benefit them. Mm-hmm. Like in football, it's funny.
Losses are fine.
Seriously, yeah, they really are. Yeah, like good losses are actually a thing. It seems weird to say, but. The teams they've lost to have actually, for the most part, except for LSU, have all been really good teams, right?
Yeah, are likely going to be 1 seeds.
Yeah. So it's just, and then you win that game against Mississippi State over another ranked win. Mm-hmm. It's just, it's huge. So I think they're going to have a good chance to make it this time.
Right, and I hope they can just keep playing with the same confidence because that was one thing that was lacking too was the confidence. And I mentioned that the last pod was that the announcer said, doesn't look like OU even cares to be out there. And I said, that's where it bothers me because you could be losing, but I want to see the effort and I want to see like the will. And they have that this game, and I hope they can continue to have that. Because at the end of the day, if you're not confident in the sport and confident in your abilities, you're not going to play well.
Nope.
It's not going to be there. No matter who you play, you could be playing an AIA school or high school team, but you have to be able to.
Well, I hope
that,
that like that gives them, because like part of just like playing how you should is just like confidence in yourself and having a stand. Like, and it really does go back to just the standard of it. Like when you go out, it's like with anything you do. Like you should do it to a standard that represents you well, and I mean, in sports, represents a team well,
right?
And yourself
and
well.
And in a sport, like if you're not confident, like if you're second guessing a pass, you're gonna throw it away. If you're second guessing a shot, you're not gonna make it. So that's what it was. Just at the end of the day, kind of what it seems like they were doing. They are back in action on Wednesday versus Kentucky, number 17.
And
so another good opportunity. They will be at home, so if you live in Norman or you're able to make it by 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Sorry, 1982 asked, did they have to win Wednesday? Do we think they have to win Wednesday? I mean, like them to, obviously. I don't think they have to make the tournament. I just don't. And I'm only going off of what I've read. I'm not some expert on bracketology or anything of that sort. But I'm just going off of the few things I read about them. It's like that win put them. They have 5, and they were going by a point system. They had 15 on the teams that are a bubble. Arkansas has like 13 on the palm ratings or whatever it is, and so you need about like a 14. You need like a 14 to almost be guaranteed if you're on the bubble. So at least as predictions go, it looks like they're in it right now. But that doesn't mean they should rest up and not care.
I think one graphic I saw during the game, it was like 2 people had them in, 1 person had them as the first team out. So I feel like getting that win would help them. But again, we don't know. You never know.
Yeah, I thought they were in last year.
Would love for them to win. Wish we could make it, but we're not super close to be able to make it, and we work really late. But we will be watching it on television. But if you're able to go. Women's team, I'll go ahead and just say when they're back in action. They are back in action on Thursday. They'll be in Florida, though.
I saw a woman get flipped off. I saw a woman flip off the entire women's basketball team.
You've been waiting to say that now, haven't you?
Yes. She gets fouled. As she's...
Okay, wait.
Go ahead.
Preface where we're sitting.
Yeah. Oh, well,
we were right behind the OU women's bench, so we got to be like
T has some great family friends.
You have some great family friends that are very supportive. They supported me my whole life with sports, so they're their tickets. They invited us last minute. We got there late because we work late, but we did our best to get there. But yeah, so we were like, this is how he was able to see this.
Yeah, I mean, literally the bench is the only thing in front of us.
And the bench is what was celebrating really cool. And
dude, so first off, she almost gets in a fight earlier in the game. She gets called for a foul on Reagan Beers, and I think that's when they did the double intentional or something like that.
Yeah.
And, of course, after that foul, she, takes her headband off and walks halfway down the court. And then later in the game, I don't know what happened. She just goes down, and they call a foul on her. And I guess in her, not defense, but just what caused the reaction was the girls on the OU's bench were just, clapping, not even, yeah, clapping that because they got a foul. Oh, you got a foul called, so, they're about to go to the free throw line. And she goes, yeah, and just turns and just middle fingers the entire bench. I don't know how she didn't get a flagrant.
I mean, you mean a tech?
A tech, yeah, tech. I mean, it just flips
I just don't think they. I always say they didn't. I was gonna say the refs didn't see it, but then right after you said that, Peyton Verhulst was taking the ball out of bounds. Kind of looked at the ref
it was wild,
and he kind of went and I'm like, wait, hold on. If you're making that look, you must have seen that, sir. But maybe he was just letting it go because they were getting beat so badly.
Yeah. Now, they did have a girl, that freshman point guard, number 1 freshman in the country, apparently, had 55 and 53 the 2 previous games before this one, and it looked like she was going to do it again because she had 30 at halftime and finished with 34 or something.
I think she had 30 midway through the third.
She had around 30 at half. She had 28 or something.
Did she? Oh.
Yeah, she did.
I thought she only had 19 or 20.
No, she had almost 30.
Maybe. I just remember thinking we called it
she was
sneaky.
Good, though.
We called it a sneaky point. So felt like we weren't seeing her score that much, but somehow she was.
Yeah, because they almost shut her down the second half.
But also, Reagan Beers had 30 points that game too. So
double that game.
Yeah, fantastic. So let's go ahead and talk about those games. So we got to We got to go see them play Vandy. We got really good seats. It was really fun. Shout out John and Sue. Those are my family friends. Beers had a double-double, 14 rebounds, 30 points. I mixed 30 and 14. I made it into 13. So she had a fantastic game. But we also had 4 scorers in double digits. So, again, the women continue to show that they have more than one person that they can rely on. Now, while we are heavy on Reagan Beers, it's always helpful when you're down low if you have an outside presence. So if you have nobody else who can score, if you have nobody else who can shoot it from the outside, they're just going to double down low every single time. They're going to pack the lane
True.
and make it a lot harder.
Yep.
So it is nice that the ladies are showing that they have more scorers out there. And man, like against Vandy, they just killed them on the boards. Now I will say they had 22 turnovers, which gave Vandy 21 points. We all know me; I'm like big on the turnovers. However, overall, it was a really, really good game. They ended up winning by what, 20, 30? It was a lot.
Yeah, they won by a lot.
They won by a lot. So they had a really good game. It was really nice to see Reagan Beers out there, like feeling like she was fully back.
Yeah.
And then the women played Arkansas, which they won by 40.
Jeez.
4-0. And another just fantastic game by the Sooners. I know I've been hard on them with their turnovers. This game, they turned over the ball a lot less. I think they only had 15, which I think a lot of them kind of came later in the game when they were already up by a lot. They pretty much maintained like 10 or 11, I feel like, through most of the 3 quarters, which is pretty good overall. Like, obviously, you always would want that to be less, but it's not in the 20s, it's not in the high teens. So I was proud of them for how they took care of the ball that game. Reagan Beers put on another clinic, and she had 30 points again.
Jeez.
And, I mean, she's just high. I mean, I told Chad, like, I love it because she's just drop stepping up.
Yeah.
And, like, they just can't stop it. Now, she knocked down some threes, too. She said, don't guard me at the top of the key. I'm going to knock it down.
Problem.
Fantastic. We had 3 other scorers in double digits, and we had 10 different players total scoring.
10 different players total.
10 different players put the ball through the hoop, which is fantastic because, again, you're proving you can be a threat. You're proving that you're worthy to be guarded. And
Yeah, true.
because, again, until you prove that you're worthy of my time and attention, they're just going to double in on Reagan, make it harder on Reagan, make it harder probably on Peyton Verhulst. I say that we have Skylar Van and Sahara Williams too, but again, we have a lot of really good players, and right now they seem to be clicking pretty well. So I hope they continue this momentum through the rest of the season and then into the postseason as well, especially with taking care of the ball because it does seem like it's improved of late.
Okay.
Knock on wood. So very, very proud of them. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun to be down low, and because we got there a little bit late for the first game,
Yeah.
it was also that $2 night. $2 popcorn, soda, beer, hot chocolate, because obviously there was the snow day too, or ice. Yep. And oh my gosh, we got so much out of the concession stand because I was so hungry. We got nachos, a pretzel, you got some candy, I got some popcorn, we got sodas. Did we get anything else?
M&M's for the popcorn, peanut M&M's.
Yeah, I said you got some candy. But yeah, no, we were loaded down. It was delicious.
It was so
though.
good. Yeah.
It was so good.
Go on, yeah.
Anyways, that was besides the point.
Saw Jeremiah Fears and them there.
We did.
Saw them and waiting in line.
Yeah, Chad tried to say that he wasn't 6'4", but then he got a little closer. It's like,
He's not
Yeah.
6'4". No, he's not.
You-
No, I think I don't know why OU listed at that. He's only listed at 6'2" on like Rivals and stuff.
he
Not
looks
that it
6'4"
matters,
to me.
but he's not. He's not.
Okay, well, everybody
You see me,
looks-
I'm a tall drink of water. You know, I mean,
But
tall
I'm
dude.
5'3", so if you're over 6 foot to me, I'm like, meh.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's only when you get to be like 6'6" and above where I'm like, that's weird. Like,
Yeah.
I say weird in
Fair.
the best way. Like, that's when like I feel like I'm like, holy cow.
Well, and in
that's
your
a tall
defense, like
human.
people will see me and they'll be like, "Dude, how tall are you?" And I don't know because I'm skinny,
Maybe.
but like I'm not like tall like that. Like there are people that I'm like, dude. Like
Yeah,
my
people,
friend named
like,
Hayden
freak
from
out
law school
when they
played
see
basketball
him.
at Abilene Christian, great player.
Great guy.
You want to talk about a cheat code for an OU law intramural team? No one thought we would have on our team. By the way, a little side note. Hopefully Hayden sees
They
this
tried
one
to
day.
they tried to see if they could sneak me
We
in.
try to sneak T in for the co-ed team, but you have to have an ID. I'm talking there's better security there than half of our, well, see another joke that you probably wouldn't
Let
have
it go.
enjoyed. But yeah, so anyway, so that he's tall. He's like 6'7" and
He's solid.
very good at basketball. But
He's, like,
yeah,
more solid
yeah,
than
he
you.
is, yeah. But I don't know why people like I'm not like a
Yeah, people will see Chad and like freak out. I'm like, dude, how tall are you? Like, oh my gosh, you're so tall. And I'm like,
I'm not
I mean, obviously he's tall, but like to me, he doesn't warrant that type of reaction.
No, I don't.
I feel
It
like
makes
you
me
warrant
feel
that
weird.
type of reaction when you're 6'6" and above.
just about your point. And to be fair, yeah, it's like like that
Like
one
if you're
guy that
Chet.
was with him. Yeah, like Chet would be. Yeah, exactly.
That
Chet would be a
would
guy I'm
warrant-
like, dude, how tall are you?
Right.
And it really is when people ask if like say you're tall, you go, huh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's literally the only response you can give. If
I've
you
never,
say yeah,
that's
it's
never
like
happened in my life.
yeah.
Yeah. Dude,
Anyways,
girl,
yeah,
you're
your
so
point.
small.
Sorry
Anyways,
about that.
So we're gonna go ahead and talk about softball. Softball had a really good weekend. They went undefeated again.
Let me ask you this: my Patty Gasso take.
It continues to hold true.
So, some
This Patty has something, man.
some would argue rivals your spring game take. No one saw it coming. Mm-hmm. I think we should both give each other
She
credit.
just really flew under the radar, didn't she?
Well, yeah. I mean, you saw they barely got the statue up in time.
She didn't even want the statue.
I know, that's wild.
Because she's a humble lady. But
True.
so they played Tulsa. They run-rolled them 8-0. Deal started that game. She had a pretty good game. Pretty proud of Kirsten Deal and how she played. Abby Dayton's looking pretty good in center. I know it's really hard to replace Jada Coleman out there.
Yeah.
But she's done a really good job. I've been really proud of her. She's quick. Cough towel. Exactly. Yeah, because my husband told me I was coughing wrong. So
I did not.
Coughing
Okay,
in
you're
the
making it
towel.
sound like I'm like a weirdo or something. I was just like, you can cough in the towel instead of like, in a muffler.
no,
It
you
might
didn't
help.
say you can. You said cough in the towel.
Well, that's what I
Cough.
meant.
It was a demand.
She is allowed
it was
to
an
say no.
imperative, not an
Yeah,
interrogative.
sure.
Thank
Okay,
you.
well.
Anyways, back to here. Cassidy Pickering and Ella Parker continue to be fantastic. We love them. They went on to play Wichita State. It was kind of a weird game. I never was worried about them. Like, they always had the lead, but I just didn't feel like the same dominance was there, if you will. Like, I don't know. It didn't seem like we were dominating them, even though, like, if you looked at the scoreboard, it seemed like we were. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of like just a weird game where it kind of seemed like it was more like on errors. Right, yes. I watched the Wichita State game. He said best thing was Malloy and Emmerling hitting well. Both were under 200 going the weekend. Sam Landry is really good. Yeah, so, like, we had a really good things happen. Tia Malloy and Isabella Emmerling. We have a lot of Isabels and Isabellas.
We do.
And Bellas.
It's like we're a Disney movie.
And Abby. Anyways. And so, like, they got their spark. But I don't know. That was just a weird game to me. And the whole time I was watching it, I was like, I don't know why this feels weird. But yeah, it says, I wrote notes, like, we scored on missed pitches. We had some home runs, had some base hits.
You did right.
We kind of had it all, but, like, we left a lot on the bases. And I don't know. We just weren't as, maybe clean is a good word to do it. Or
Right.
dominating. Today versus Bowling Green was another weird game. But honestly, shout out to Bowling Green. They played hard. I didn't get to watch the whole game because I did have patience. But for what I was watching, their defense was on fire. It seemed like they were just making play after play and just making it happen. They had a lead on us 3-0 by the time I even logged on and was listening to it. And I looked, I was like, is this a typo or, like, what happened? And so, yeah,
Quick
we ended
question here
up
from
pulling
Randy
it out. When they were up 3-0, Sid Sanders got a grand slam to put us up 4-3, and then we were tied at 5 going into extra innings.
Sick.
It was, and Sid had a fantastic day. And then Cassidy Pickering ends up walking it up with a 3-run home run.
We've
So
been
we
needing
went
Sid to have a
8-5.
good day, right?
We've been needing Sid to come back alive.
Randy had a question for you. Fashion
For
tip.
T, do you like the glasses Sam wears? Are they fashionable? I think she rocks them. I think she's just a pretty girl too, but
Who's this? Oh, I know who you're talking about. I know who you're
pitcher.
talking about. Yeah.
No, I think she rocks them. I think they look good. I would say they're fashionable. I'm not the person to ask about college fashion though, because I'm a millennial, so I don't know.
I am. If I see another football player wear that second button on a suit, I'm gonna go into the Walk of Champions and stop them.
You're gonna stop all of them and start unbuttoning their second button.
Yes,
Fair.
because be a man. You know what I mean? Or don't wear the
Yeah,
suit.
tell them that.
I will. They just won't ever let me talk to the team.
Okay. Anyways, and then we did play Abilene Christian, which is another game I got to watch a little bit, but then again I had patience, so I didn't get to finish the game. We won in 5, so we did have a run rule. But Sid Sanders had another home run. She had another RBI, like, base hit. She really came alive today, and honestly, she had a really good weekend. And Sid Sanders, I feel like last year she struggled a lot. I kind of felt like it was an all or nothing thing with her. Like, it was nothing. Like, boom, she'd get, like, the base hit at a crucial time, or nothing, boom, like, same thing. And so I really like to see her become more consistent as she was, like, her first year with us. And again, it could have just been, like, a little, I know they usually call it, like, a sophomore slump, but technically she was a junior, so now she's a senior. So she seems like a good kid. Really hope that this is the, like, spark plug she needs to continue going. But yeah, no, Ella Parker is an amazing athlete. She continues to be consistent.
How about the
Loving-
shortstop? What's the 20?
Gabby Garcia has played short, and
She played center sometimes last year.
Barker.
She played
Sydney
right-
Barker has played short too.
Is that the blonde
There's
girl?
2 freshmen, yeah. 77, I believe. I'm still learning numbers, so don't hold me
I
to
don't think
this.
she's a fresh. She played last year on the team. She like would.
Cassidy? Cassidy's kind of blonde, but she's in the
No,
outfield.
no. She was. I don't know. I have to look up. She plays short sometimes. She's out there now. At least the one game I saw her out
Hannah
there.
Core?
That's it. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
she's
Hannah
still
Core,
injured.
yeah.
She hasn't come back yet.
I thought it was maybe okay. Well, wow. I don't
Maybe
know.
she came back some this weekend. I didn't catch it. I'm not always good about catching any subtle changes,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, no, they had a great weekend. It was really fun to watch them. They overcame some adversity. That's what I love about Patty. Like if we're down early to some team, she's like, meh, figure it out.
True.
Like because she's playing the long game. She doesn't care if she loses games early. She doesn't care if it's tough early. She wants that to happen. So when it gets into that post game, you've already faced it before, or postseason, or even late in the season, you've already faced that before. And yeah, Hannah's an outfield. Gabby and Barker at short.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay.
I think you're
don't
just
know why
getting
I thought-
Hannah
I
and
probably
Barker
am.
confused because they're both like slender blondes.
Okay.
and they have like
that might be it.
they
Fair
both.
enough.
I think it's like 77 and like 27.
And
I
listen,
know, some, like,
people
weird
don't think
names.
I'm like firm on this. I just am genuinely curious. I can't
Right.
remember.
There's a lot of new players for you too,
Sure,
especially.
yeah. I finally
and
got,
he
you know,
worked
well-
all weekend too on in his defense. He only got to come in and poke his head in every so often. But yeah, no, I'm liking what
let
I'm
me-
seeing from the pitchers.
Can I ask you this?
Sure.
Just curious. What like are you? Is there? What? Where are we not great right now? Consistency hitting or pitching, or is it just they're young? Let them get some more games before we really know, like what they need to improve.
I
on
saw
the most?
more fielding errors this weekend, or really, I feel like in general than I've seen the past 4 years. And it's funny enough because I believe like whoever was on with Chris Plank, I always forget, but she kind of mentioned like there's a few fielding errors, and Patty went out to talk to him immediately. And I guess in one interview, Patty said like I'm looking forward to this year. Like, I'm actually getting to coach more because in the past 4 years, like, these girls just had it. They just knew what they were
just
supposed
so
to
good,
do
yeah. That's
type
funny.
thing. So I didn't get to, like, coach. So I think that's more, they're making, like, some more, like, freshman mistakes or just,
Right.
like, learning how to work together mistakes. Their hitting to me has been, okay, so Patty mentioned, like, we're going to play, like, a lot more small ball. I've kind of seen it all.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the big hits, I've seen the small ball, and I've seen, like, the base hits. So I've seen pretty consistent at the bat overall.
Okay.
Again, could always be better early, but for early in the season, I've been like, all right, like, we're not just relying on the home run ball. Granted, we've gotten a lot. We've got, like,
Right.
3 or 4 grand slams already.
Right.
Fantastic. But it's only going to get harder as SEC play comes. I really have been fine with our pitching so far. Again, we haven't faced like a Tennessee level, a Florida level, Alabama level, Texas level type team. But still, I feel like they've looked comfortable
Right.
in the circle. I've seen some growth, like especially out of Peyton Monticelli. I feel like she's a lot more accurate and a lot more comfortable as well in the circle. So I've seen some of that growth. So I'm interested to see how when they get into like some harder play. Yeah, I feel like maybe it's just more so like the fielding. They were apparently behind on stolen bases, but they stole a lot this weekend and today. So, but not that I think that they can. I just don't think that they had the call for it. We
Right.
got a lot of speed. So,
And
we'll see.
I loved Patty's interview that she did, where she talked about recruiting
Mm-hmm.
and how. And I don't know if there's any parents that have kids that play this, but if, on the off chance there is, she had talked about how, you know, if she goes to recruit a player, that player might only get 3 chances to bat, and if you know maybe there's 2 walks and you know a ground out or something or hit by
2 walks
pitch.
and hit by pitch.
Yeah, and so now you don't even get to see him take a swing. And she goes, so how do I evaluate a player? She goes, well, I'm looking at is her energy up the whole time? Is she encouraging teammates on the even when at down moments? Is she even as far as like do her parents carry her bags or does she? Like that's a big deal. Like carry do things like carry your own bag, things of that sort. You know, like those little things that she looks for in
What do you call it?
players.
Like extreme accountability.
Yeah, just everything should be you. You know, even when it's not. Like even when you have a team that you're helping, it's all. It always should be. You know, this is all my responsibility. How do I
Right.
be the best? And
It was
how
all
do I-
about
yeah.
looking for that high character,
Exactly.
regardless of the moment. And contrast that to some teams with some coaches who are insane.
Is that who you're talking about?
We all know who I'm talking about.
Okay,
So
well,
it's just a stark contrast of like
Right,
how do
yeah.
you uphold yourself? How do you act with character? How do you act with
Right.
grace even in moments of adversity? Even if it's not your moment, how are you rooting for your team? And I really love that, and I love that from Patty, and that's just to me radiates who Patty is, because you see her usually very cool, calm, and collected. Like she'll go talk to refs when she's upset, but she's never
freaking out
or coming off as disrespectful. She might say, and like literally one time she's like, I don't agree with that. Like that's like how I was like, that is like the sassiest I feel like I've ever seen Patty.
Yeah,
but
like,
you catch more flies with honey than vinegar.
Right.
But I really like that she says, like, it doesn't matter. I'm seeing how you are acting on and off the field, you know? And I think that speaks volumes, especially like we talk about now in the age of it's all about money and less about character.
Well, and it's just like the little things. Like the little things really do reflect how a person is. Like I mean,
and I think that's why her teams have had the success they've had, especially of late, is because if you're holding yourself to a different standard in your everyday life, you're going to hold yourself to a different standard on the field.
Well, and it talks about, like, remember, like I know our parents both stressed it to both of us, but like that Alabama video that came out of their receivers, where, you know, Ryan Williams, to his credit, and the other receiver, I think Ty Law maybe, were the only two taking notes in practice in film review. And the coach just like goes off and says, like, I don't think it's an accident that the two leading receivers are the ones, you know, actually taking notes and trying to pay attention and asking questions.
Right.
He's like, well, some of y'all are worried about your haircut and when you're going to post on Instagram again.
Right.
You know, he's like, you guys are just, you know, doing those little things. They do add up. They really do. And so there you go. I'm going to answer this from Randy, and then we'll get to Jim if you want, because we saw that video, right?
Yes.
Randy asks a question for Chad. After finishing with softball, your thoughts on Kevin Wilson hire? I really like it. Helps with offense and game management with BV, spending so much time with defense. Randy, yeah, that's pretty much were my thoughts exactly last week when we kind of talked about it. And you'll know this, and my dad's mentioned it too. Like when you're a young coach, like Arbuckle's going to be, and you get a chance to have someone who's been as successful as Kevin Wilson. That 08 offense, I was looking at the numbers last week for the show, and they averaged 51 a game. That's 51 a game.
We don't want every game.
Obviously, you know, obviously the last 5 games they have 60 points or more. But I think just the consistency that he had with that offense, and my dad and I actually got to go to a practice back in the day when he was there, and they were in an indoor event, and Sam Bradford somehow got hit, and I remember he just went off on whoever hit him. Like, you know, because it was a kind of a bad weather day, and they were just doing. And this dude, I don't even know if he meant to, but it was just wild. I was like, oh my, that guy's getting yelled at. That's wild.
Good.
But yeah, you know, don't hit Sam Bradford, you know, or the Heisman Trophy winner. Anyways, there was so I think that's really the big benefit is that Arbuckle gets a guy to bounce ideas off of, and you had even mentioned that too, T, about, you know, when he's not that he's not confident ever, but it's just nice it's like a good caddy for PGA Tour players. Someone that can be affirmative for what you believe, or just say, hey, yeah, or hey, have you thought of this idea, you know? Or I played a team that had a similar defense back in the day, you know, like, how is this, you know, can it help?
Yeah.
And just being able to do that. So I totally agree with you. I think it's going to be huge for the team and huge for him. And for BV, like you're saying, with game management, getting to have someone with his kind of mind be a scout for the next week opponent, put together a game plan earlier in the week. It's just, you know, again, it just goes with, I mean, it's kind of repetitive, but it is just such a big boost and an advantage for them, especially in a year when they have as much riding on this year as they do, to have someone with that experience come in and who the other players know and can look at and see the people he's put in the NFL and the eye that he has for talent. I'm excited about it. I think it's going to be really, really beneficial for him. So, yeah, it's kind of my thoughts there.
I got a text from my mother, and she wanted me to say that you're really tall for my side of the family.
Oh, yeah. Now, T's tall for her side of the family.
For the Mexican side.
Her side of the family would be like if, like, the Shire and, like, Hobbitsville took place in, you know, Mexico. Like, they're not tall people. That's probably not good to say, is it? Or something? I don't know.
But we're not tall people. We're
You're
Mexican.
Not. You should have seen when I walked in the first time. It was like one of the trees in the Hobbit or in the Lord of the Rings movies, you know?
Pretty much. Yeah, no, my mom's 5'4", and she's considered a tall one.
Yeah.
For, like, the women.
Yeah.
Honestly, I got some uncles that aren't very tall either, but...
you talk about an all-time family.
You were pretty great.
Oh, dude, it's awesome. Yeah.
Lots of fun. But anyways, gymnastics. So, as Chad mentioned, we got to sit front row at the OU gymnastics meet. And shout out to all of you guys. Second largest attendance of all time for the gymnastics.
Good job, guys. Yeah.
Woo-hoo!
And I gotta say, if you have daughters or just like kids, they're legitimately fun to be in.
It's a lot of fun. It's so much fun.
Like the atmosphere, like they always have music playing, you know, and they always have, but also it's like whenever they have to land something, there is that moment for even the opponent, like the opposing team, where you're just like, don't get hurt, which sadly, you know, we saw one of those injuries, and one girl actually fell off the unbalanced beam.
There was a lot. We'll talk about it.
Bars, but yeah. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, but yeah.
But no,
That's
they
just
have
really
one
fun.
more
We should
home
go.
meet. It's against Michigan. I still have that code up, and I will reshare it as we get closer. To get discount tickets, like $5 to $10 tickets. So like let's go number one.
Yeah,
Why not
tag
make
it
the most attended gymnastics meet of all time? It's senior night, so you'll be saying goodbye to like Audrey Davis, Jordan Bowers, Daniel Sievers, I believe, Daniel Fletcher. There's a few gymnasts we're going to be saying goodbye to, but we did watch them against Florida. Again, second largest attendance ever. Fantastic. Chad mentioned falls. Very first event for Florida. Very first girl.
Very first girl.
Girl goes to transfer between bars and doesn't catch it and just falls on her back like hard. And she's down for a while. Chad looks at me and is like, I'll never take for granted how hard it is to jump between bars ever again. I'm like, you thought that was easy? He's like, well, they make it look easy. He's like, but now I'm thinking it's like 10 times harder than it actually is. I'm like, yeah, that would be pretty hard. Then they had a girl on the floor, her first...
That's crazy.
A girl, again on Florida, her first tumbling pass, under rotates, lands wrong, and you see her grab at her Achilles, and she is down, but then she just hops up and hops, like, off the floor, off the mats, and into the dressing room. I don't know, I haven't looked up how she was doing, but she came back out in a boot and crutches. We were assuming that Achilles is probably pretty injured.
I'm almost positive she grabbed right below her, not right below her calf, but above the ankle. Now, I'm no doctor, obviously. I don't know, I'm not even that great at biology. But, like, right above the ankle, like, below the calf right here, and her foot was just, like, dangling like this.
Yeah. And
I felt so bad for her, man.
She was clearly in a lot of pain, so prayers out to her. And then they had, 2 or 3 people fall off the beam. It was not a good night.
Yeah.
I'm convinced Florida's cursed when they come to the LNC, because the last time I was there when Florida came, some girl got hurt on the vault, like a weird crash happened, so I don't know what's going on there. But, the judging was very, very stingy on the bars and the beam.
Yeah.
And I retweeted the video of it, but they asked KJ about the scoring, and KJ kind of got a little sassy, which a lot of other coaches have apparently throughout this whole thing. And not saying that, you need to hand out 10s here, like, all willy-nilly, which I think they were a little more laissez-faire with that last year, giving out maybe 10s to non-perfect routines. But now it's like they're looking for...
They're, like, trying to give you every reason not to.
Every reason not to give you a 10. And so it just is... they were very, very stingy on the bars and beam for both teams. Because we were watching it, and, of course, we're mad when... OU gets their scores, and we're like, okay, well, at least we hope it's 2 ways. But then we're watching it, and we've all gotten pretty good at scoring, like estimating what it quote unquote should be or what we think it's going to be, and we were all off substantially, and we would look like, man, like that girl was robbed. And we're talking about for Florida too, like, but again, I mean, in the end, it weighs out because we thought the same for Oklahoma, but like it was kind of crazy.
Well, even like you're saying, the Florida coaches,
beam,
the Florida coaches were just, like the faces they were making when they get the scores back.
And same with the OU, all the GAs, like all the coaches, like all the team were like, what is going on? And apparently, of course, obviously we weren't watching it on TV. The announcers were like, what is happening? Like, what are they deducting on? Like, this is insane.
But
even with that said, I can't say her last name, Elle Mueller. I think that's how you say it. Elle Mueller. She is a freshman. She scored her high score on the floor of a 9.95. So it was great for her. Like, she did fantastic. Faye Torres did end up getting a 10.
Boom.
On the floor. And it's kind of funny because we were all cheering for Jordan to get a 10 because she was darn near perfect. And she ended up getting like a 9.975, something crazy like that. Well, we're all watching Faith, and she was phenomenal. I mean, we're like, what can you do? And like, there's like 2 sets of judges, and the judges over here were like, we're waiting like the 10, and you see like one judge like kind of waiting, and this other judge is still kind of waiting.
Yeah.
And she kind of looks over, and we're all kind of starting to cheer, like, come on, give her a 10, holding up the signs.
Yeah.
And she kind of looks over, and the guys are kind of like, no, and she kind of goes, oh, yep. And so it's almost like she was looking for something, but then just couldn't.
Yeah.
So then they held up the 10, and the crowd went crazy, and it was a really, really good moment for her. It was OU's first 10 of the season, which again is crazy in and of itself, but there haven't been that many 10s in NCAA, so it is what it is. My video is a little bit longer today because I didn't feel like making it shorter because we've realized I don't have to anymore. So it does feature Lily Peterson going 9925 on the floor. I haven't showed her routine yet, so she did really phenomenal there. It shows Kira Wells's 9875 on the beam. I don't know if it's her highest score of the year, but to me, from what I've watched, that's the best I've seen her do her beam routine, so I included that, as well as Audrey Davis 99 on bars. Audrey Davis's 99 on bars is what KJ was pretty fired up about in the interview because she said she received one of her lowest bar scores, I think, in her career on that routine, and it was almost flawless. I mean,
Weird.
from like typical fans, we're not saying from like obviously, but she was like, it just didn't make any sense for how well she did for the score that one judge gave her. But she ended up getting a 9-9, so it still worked out. But she was like, I had to calm her down to go be lead off on beam because she's so shaken up over the score she just got, despite how she did. So, and you'll see it, but enjoy.
Yeah, I'll try to share this real quick, but it was really interesting to see.
Per usual, let us know if you can hear it.
We're going to share, also share system audio. Boom, boom, boom. I think we've gotten this down. I think we're pretty much. Hopefully. Not much sound.
Please welcome your back to back to back OU softball.
You forgot one.
Take it away, Ella.
It's Ella Parker here with OU softball. We just wanted to say thank you for supporting women in sports. Ladies, let's hit them. Ready? 1, 2, 3, Boomer!
I think that's about what they say you need to be at to win a natty. 198.
Yeah.
I just want to show people real quick. Just real quick here. Hold on. Let me find a good view. Hold on. Is it down here? Might not be. I want y'all to peep game on this guy in the orange right here. I mean, look at this shirt. Oh, dang, it's not going to show up. I mean, this dude was just about it all night.
It was the most orange shirt.
Right here in the corner. I don't know if you can see it, but dude, it was the most orange shirt of all time.
It was very flashy.
Oh, there we go.
There he is.
There's a better view.
Dude was working it.
Anyways, yeah, that was just funny.
He was a very confident man.
Yep.
Yeah, Nathan said, Lily is so amazing coming in and performing like she is as a freshman. She absolutely is. She's doing fantastic. We have several freshmen that are doing well. Addison Feta is doing well, and then Elle Mueller's coming in and doing really well. So we got a few young kids that are, man, they're kicking it, and they're doing fantastic. But there is one more home meet, senior night. It's against Michigan on March 7th. Go out and support. Try to make the largest attendance of all time. They deserve it. And then they go on to postseason from there, SEC championship, NCAA. So it'll be really exciting. So I hope you guys can head in.
Yeah, it should be. It should be a good end of the season for them, and they are. We're at the LSU and Arkansas next 11th. Yeah, I bet that was pretty cool. The rest of the season, kind of, they're like you said, they just have SECs and then championships in Fort Worth area.
They're competing against Auburn this Friday, and then at Auburn, and then next Friday the 7th they'll have their last home meeting against Michigan, which is senior night. But then got a few more basketball games left, a few more gymnastics meets left. Of course, softball and baseball just got started, so they return again, I believe, on Thursday. Well, baseball, we said tomorrow and throughout the week, but softball returns Thursday. Lots of OU sporting events out there. I didn't cough a single minute through that entire video. I'm telling you, the moment I start talking, it makes it worse. But go out and support some OU sports, guys.
Yep. OU baseball tomorrow. Play Texas. What was it? Texas Southern. Is that what I saw? Yeah, Texas Southern at 4. Looks like. So pretty cool little show there, and then good day to watch baseball too if you're down in Norman area.
Looks like we had some beautiful weather this week. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. Again, we are here every Monday at 7 o'clock Central Time. We are the voice of college football Oklahoma, and we hope to see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see y'all. Have a good one.
Boomer.